Great hires start with great interviews, and Hire Guide is delighted to be working with Randstad SourceRight and Randstad Enterprise with your clients. Now, we want to have a session here that gives you the so what around Hire Guide, what you can build into your sales collateral, help you deepen and heighten the switch costs of your client relationships. And this is going to give you an overview of the positioning and value proposition of Hire Guide. Great hires start with great interviews. The issue with that, though, is that selection, determining whether a candidate is right or wrong for the role, is often inefficient and ineffective. It really relies on a lot of gut feel, a lot of notes being taken, a lot of memory recall, and you can't stand across it a lot of the time and determine quality of hiring decision. So we help CHRO and TA leaders in four areas. We help them operationalize skills-based hiring, how you actually do it. So we bring that to life with our tech, but it's underpinned by IO Psych validated hiring science. We make recruiter teams more efficient, doing more with less, helping coordinators save time. We provide more metrics, more tangible results to mitigate bias and to elevate the hiring team and the talent team to the top table, and then quality. How can you stand across a quality of hire? It's a very, very big question, and we provide some metrics to help you conquer that. We've got a guided interview decision platform. And what we mean by that is that we are at the intersection between AI and hiring science. We've created an interview decision system that hiring teams love. Very high, nearly 97% satisfaction rating in terms of using this. We have over 1,000 teams working with this today. And the so what here is that you can see quality experience. It takes the intake, it creates a full skills-based structured multi-round interview plan in minutes, spins up what skills to be assessed, what questions to ask to determine whether those skills are present in the candidate, and what a good answer looks like using bars. We're a bars raiser. Bars is behaviorally anchored rating scale. It shows you what a one is, gives you a good example of a one answer, and a 5 out of 5, the best, gives you an example of that. So you can score consistently, you can compare and contrast when you're making submittals to the hiring managers as to why the candidate should proceed. You can say they've got a skills gap here, or they nailed these skills and we've agreed these skills are relevant for the role. So the setup is automatically done. A lot of agentic AI coming into place, uses intelligent scheduling to get the best candidate availability and panel availability to move things along. And then during the interview, we capture all of that wonderful insight and data and do something with it. You can interrogate it later. You can say, is Steve coachable? And it will tell you why perhaps I'm not. And it'll give you some red flags as to when I've mentioned in the different rounds that I don't accept feedback as a gift. I take it very personally. I haven't got over myself, a lot of vanity and ego. But it helps you then go, okay, how do I close Steve on this? How do I, based on his motivations, what he cares about, how do I position this? You can then interrogate all of that lovely data to help you make an informed decision. And of course, then when you're scoring, it all goes back into the ATS. We integrate with 45 ATSs. So I'm going to stop that sharing now, and I'm going to go into the product itself and show you a spin up of what it looks like to create a structured interview guide. We're going to use Johnson and Johnson, one of the Randstad clients, as an example here. So let me just share that screen. Great. So essentially, we'll go over to positions and we'll create and add a new position with an interview plan. So we have 69,000 job titles. So this role is a sales operations manager. There we are. We'll choose that. And then we'll drop in the spec. Now we integrate with the ATSs, so it would extract this from most ATSs, but I've just copied and pasted it in. We're going to take similar jobs out. Now we've just got in a wall of text what we're looking for from the candidate. So we're going to extract skills from this now. So we'll hit next, and it'll build out 3 skills clouds. It'll build out the skills cloud it's extracted from the spec. It'll build out a skills cloud it's looked from 129 million other job specs across the web. All of Johnson & Johnson's competitors, all in the industry, skills associated with really successful sales operation managers. So here we've got the skills cloud from the job spec. And these are the ones that we've got here. And then these would be Johnson & Johnson culture value tenants. So you can have questions and answers anchored to those as well. Sales operations manager, KPI reporting. You hover over it, gives you the definition. We want to create a question on that. So you start just to enable some questions here that can be built out of these skills. So let's choose some skills there and then some other ones that weren't in the role, but forecasting accuracy. Doing what you say you're going to do is important. Salesforce, we know and love. Let's add that. We'll go to next. What'll happen now is that it will create like an e-commerce experience. You'll have the shopping cart and you'll be able to add questions into the cart, but you'll be able to create those. You're going to get a multi-round structure here. We always spin out 5 rounds. You don't always need to have 5, but you can choose. On the left are all the skills that we chose. So forecasting, KPI reporting, sales strategy, etc. And these are the different rounds. You can move the rounds around. You can delete a round off. We can name these rounds. So this could be screening, etc. And we're saying there's 2 questions for forecasting in the screening round. Now, you're not going to assess every skill in every round. You don't want duplicative questions, but just for the sake, we're going to look at screening round and I'm going to add a couple of questions here that we can then build out in the screening. Let's go into those and look what they look like. So on the right is the cart. As I said, the checkout, if you want to move quickly. There's quite a nice question there. Explain the difference between a short-term sales forecast and long-term forecast. What does it reveal? So what we're going to do is we're going to dig in a little bit more. Let's look at KPI reporting. What are those key performance indicators? And let's view all those questions. So now you're going to get questions that are anchored to the industry, to pharmaceuticals, to sales, to the culture and value tenants of Johnson & Johnson. And then you're going to see these questions in a bit more detail. So here, if a sales team is struggling to meet their targets due to a sudden shift in market trends, how would you adapt your KPI reporting to provide insights, recommendations for strategic changes to improve performance? And then the why, you're asking the question. And here is the way that you score whether the candidate is on point. Number 1's inadequate, number 5's exceptional. And it gives you what to look for, 1 to 5, to anchor to those scoring. If we like that, we can do that, press plus, and it goes on to the right. There it is there. We can do, if we wanted to, go in a bit more detail, and we can ask the AI to tighten up the question a bit, make it shorter, make it longer, rewrite it as a situational question or a judgment question, make it more challenging. So we can immediately have author assist. Here are the pieces here. We can actually then build that out. Let's have this as if a sales team, let's have it as a situational question, and it will rewrite that question in a situational framework. This is the piece about the AI agent. The question's been rewritten. There you go. Imagine a sales team is facing challenges in meeting targets because of unexpected changes in the market. How would you adjust KPI performing? Right, so we can make it more relevant to the skill as well of KPI reporting. So very easily, we can help ourselves change this up with AI support. It does this live. Again, it also changes what the answer might look like. So here it's now saying, as a sales operational manager, how would you use KPI reporting to address and resolve performance challenges within the sales team? It makes it much simpler, focused, and it's changed the bars as well. It says if you're failing to recognize the impact of market trends on performance and don't adjust, that's just not good enough. Provides no actionable insights. That's a good one. People can then rally around what a 1 looks like, so you can stand across your scores. So if we like that, we can then save that to the script and it'll go on to the right. So immediately you can choose that. Let's have a look at forecasting. It's a belief system, right? Minimum deviation to what you say you're going to do. So imagine that our company is planning a major new product launch within the next quarter. Sales operations manager, how would you utilize forecasting techniques to predict the initial sales volume? How would you adjust your approach if early sales data significantly diverges from your forecasts? How do you get it back on track? Keep yourself honest. So there are some great answers to show as well. And here are some follow-up questions and explore tips. So obviously then you can then go on and dig deeper. Now, the beauty of hireguide is that those questions will be available in the interview arrangement that the scheduling system makes. So here we can see now what the scheduling can do. It is super simple. So to configure a link, we've got 3 people that are going to be interviewing. So here we'll add Brian, and there's 51 availability booking times in the next 2 weeks. Now, if we add Nick, it comes down to 36. Add Laura in it, it's 14. So you've got know as you go. Super simple then. When the link goes out for the candidate to choose a time, it goes in everyone's calendars. But hey, Laura, can you do it asynchronously? Can you look at the recording? Hire guide note taker who joined the call. Can you do it afterwards? And hey, Brian, we love you, but also we know that Scott can come and join instead. So that goes back up to 45. And of course, we don't want to do it on a Wednesday because we've got the all hands comes down to 35. And of course, we do recognize people put in availability blocks, like quiet time. Let's overwrite that on a certain date with everyone's consent. Now 49 again. And then very simply for the coordinators, 30-minute interviews every 30 minutes. Actually, we can do them every 15 minutes. Gives you 88 times. No maximum daily bookings for interviews. Offered time range next 2 weeks. Put in everyone's calendars. Great. Away you go. And then the consent is done. So that is super simple. That's intelligent scheduling. It just really means that you don't have to wait 10 days for the candidate to be scheduled. Time kills all candidate and interviewer interactions. Let's look at the so what of one these interviews have taken place. We want to decide. So here we can say, okay, let's look at the candidates that have been interviewed. Let's rank them according to their skill score. Jonathan's got 4.2. He's at the top. Let's look at him. Give me a summary from everybody's notes, and it'll use an agentic AI to compound all of the notes together from all of these individual screening, manager one-to-one technical interviews, all of the summary notes that have been done by hireguide. So you've now got a submittal sheet about Jonathan's alignment. But Jonathan's got no clear consensus here on closing. There's an outlier score. Market knowledge is high, but Brian said it's low. So it calls to attention where you should look and have a discussion about moving him forward. So actually you can go in a bit more detail. It'll give you discussion questions to have. Now, we're a little bit concerned here about the outlier because we've got 3 people say move forward, but Brian says don't move forward. Strong yeses, but Brian says weak no. Brian's got some issues with the candidate. If we look at the scoring against these different skills, we can see Brian's score here. He's done a 1 here for market knowledge when everybody else is going up there at 3.5 to 4.5. So we can dig in. We go, Brian, can we have a chat about this? Sure. Let's look at your transcript of the interview. Let's look at the question being asked about market knowledge, the question you asked, what the candidate said. Let's look at you asking this question live. And then Brian can stand across his 1 out of 5, or he can change it. But you've got scrutiny and rigor around the scoring for the first time. So that's a very whistle-stop tour of how to create a guided interview question, answer and scorecard using the bars technique as well for the good answers, how to schedule an interview with intelligent scheduling, and then how to use the decide module to determine whether or not a candidate should be moved forward or not. There's a lot more features in hireguide. It's very immersive. The UI is very simple to follow as well, and we would love to get started with you and take you through a bit more of a demo. This was just a taste of getting you going. Thank you very much.